Hey everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Rich and Turbo Heavy Half Hour. As a host today, you just get Rich. You can find me on X at Fuzz Doom Rip, all the socials at Rich.Piva, doing reviews for Musicpedia of Metal, and as a Doom Charts contributor. I am very excited to have the band Zebulon with us, whose new record came out just this month called Come Day of Reckoning. It is some amazing killer doom out of Norway. Very excited for having the guys on the call. So welcome to the show. How are you guys doing?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're doing fine.
Yeah.
Excellent. If you guys could introduce yourselves, you guys are just to let everybody know. The new record came out. It dropped last week, right, or on the 7th. So a couple weeks ago. Was telling the guys earlier that my vinyl came already. Even in the U.S., it came. It came from the bandwagon. So if you guys need it, let me know. I know where you guys can get it without crazy U.S. shipping tariff things that are all happening here. And it is absolutely worth your time. It's a great record, especially when we're looking for some really good doom stuff. So if you guys don't mind, could you introduce yourselves and let us know what you guys do in the band? And Kristian, I'm looking at you, so we'll start with you if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. I'm also really excited to be here. I'm Kristian. I'm doing the vocals for Zebulon. Been doing for I guess a bit over 2 years now.
Very cool. And Oddmund, if I'm saying your name correctly.
Yeah, that sounds quite okay to me, to be honest. It's not the worst I've heard. So, well, thank you for introducing us. And yes, I'm playing the bass guitar, and I also do some, growl backup vocals in some small parts in the band as well.
Okay, great. And Torstein, how about you?
Hi, my name's Torstein, and I play the guitar, basically.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys. And I think I reached out when the single, the first or the second single came out, because it blew me away. I thought, I think that there's I don't want to say a void, but there's a lot of room for some good modern new doom out there. And I think you guys nail it. And also incorporating kind of the classics and the old school stuff. I'm going to ask you about some of your influence in some bands that I hear, because sometimes I hear things and people are like, "You're crazy. We don't like that band." So we'll see how that goes. And you guys are the second Norwegian band on the show, not the first. I was lucky enough to have Kal-El on the show before, so we're kind of starting to lean very Norwegian on the show. I'm excited about that. There's so many cool bands from Norway too. But I'm going to stop blabbing, and I'm going to ask you guys to talk about the record. Kristian, I'll start with you first. The vocals are unbelievable. I've heard things, and this is very American comparisons, but like Dee Snider from Twisted Sister, if he did doom, like Sebastian Bach from Skid Row, if he was a doom singer, just like your range and what you can do there. Tell us about just the record overall, and then your approach to the vocals, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's very kind, and kind comparisons there. I don't know. I always hated singing, actually, but then I turned 40 and I decided, hey, I'll try singing. I think me and Oddmund, actually, we were on a Queensryche concert some years ago. And of course, their vocalist as well, he started singing quite late. And I thought, hey, if he can do it this well, then why can't I? Yeah. So yeah, I started doing some singing lessons, and then I found out I had quite a bit of range. And then, hey, what should I do with it? And these guys played some doom, and that was a good match.
I love how you didn't know that you had range in your vocals until like you took singing lessons. That's pretty. I mean, I know I don't have range. Like I can tell you definitively, I don't have range. So it's kind of it's both cool and a little crazy that you didn't know that you had this skill until a little bit later on in your life. So there's some like kids you see singing at like 6 years old, and this was just a new thing for you in your late 30s, I assume, right?
Yeah, even late 30s. Yeah, But yeah, it's all about the right techniques, and yeah, everybody can do it. I believe with the right teacher. So yeah,
Very cool.
and
What,
then no.
I was going to ask you what the Queensryche show you saw, was that a Todd Latore or was that a Jeff Tate situation? Because both of those guys can belt it out, but Jeff Tate, even to this day, to me is like the top when it comes to like vocalists. But Todd's great too.
Yeah, of course, nobody can top him. But I think this was with Todd when I think quite recently after he joined, and I think well, that's impressive. It's not Jeff Tate, but it's really impressive.
Yeah, it would be intimidating stepping into that role. Being the guy who took over for Jeff Tate would be So Oddmund, from a bass standpoint, you guys mentioned Queensryche, but like musically, and Torstein, I'd go to you on this too. Musically, what were you guys going for with Zebulon when you guys got together? Like, I hear a lot of some of the traditional Doom stuff. I hear a little bit of Trouble. There's a band that I think is local to you guys, SAG, SAGH, those guys, who I hear a little bit of that too, but maybe slow down a little bit. What were you guys going for? Did you have a target in mind? Were there when you got together, were you just kind of jammed and this is what came out, or how did that all work?
That's quite hard to say actually, but Trouble has always been like a huge inspiration for me musically. I used to play in a more extreme metal band, and then Trouble part didn't come very much through, to be honest. But now playing, I would guess, more than 15 years with Torstein and on and off with Kristian. Actually, we played in a band, all three of us together, like 15 years ago, I think, or 12 or something like that. But it was more like a cover band of all kind of metal stuff. But Trouble has always been very special to me. I have the first record cover tattooed on my arm here, and I was fortunate enough to see them both with Eric Wagner and their new singer now, and also the guy that was singing for a couple of months in the middle. The only time.
Oh, you saw the guy from Warrior Soul when he was singing for them? Oh, wow. Okay. Corey Clark.
The only time they played Norway, me and Kristian was there to see them live, and that was with the guy from Warrior Soul. Yeah.
That's I've gone YouTubing, diving deep for that stuff because I'm a big Warrior Soul fan too. It was always a little bit of a weird thing, and plus. I love Trouble so much. I got into Trouble after Manic Frustration, and then kind of went backwards from there. Some more of like the 70s, the fuzzy kind of doomy, fuzzy, and when you get Rick Rubin involved, kind of stuff, and then went backwards from there. I just think that there's such an underrated band even to this day, and obviously losing Eric was hard, but yeah, they're still going strong. I'm hearing rumors of a new record too at some point, so we'll see. And from a good.
And you're
go ahead, I'm
talking
sorry.
about Eric. We all three of us actually saw the Skull playing. They played twice in Norway, and one of the times they played a festival not too far away from here, and they played one night Skull songs, and the second night they played only Trouble songs. That was kind of the best week ever musically.
Oh wow, that's I could only dream of that. I never actually got to see Trouble, which is a bummer. Maybe I'll see some other version of them at some point. Torstein, how about you from a guitar standpoint? Where do you draw your influences from, and what did you kind of envision for Zebulon when you were putting together the new record?
Actually, when we started the band, I listened to a lot of Tony Martin era Black Sabbath. Actually, I have a soft spot for that era as well as all the other Aussie eras, or no, Black Sabbath eras, rather. And I was actually introduced to Trouble, I think, when we played in the band like 15 years ago, and we played a couple of tunes from the self-titled album, cover songs. So since then, Candlemass, Trouble, Black Sabbath, of course. It sounds kind of like a cliche, but can't really beat the classics.
No, no, especially on the trouble side. And it used to be people were embarrassed to say how much they liked the Tony Martin Black Sabbath era,
Yeah,
but people have come around to it. They put out the box set, and like the riffs are there. It's just, if you're comparing it to the first six or even, the Dio records, it's not fair, really. But when you look at them independently, those are great records. And Naomi was still writing riffs, and, there's a lot of great stuff on there.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I yeah, I found them probably around the same time. In the start, I like kind of I need to listen to them as something as their own entity, not like a continuation of Ozzy Black Sabbath and Dio's Black Sabbath. But yeah, I found yeah, Tony Martin has a lot of melody and range, and yeah, cool ways to arrange things. So I will probably never say it's the best Black Sabbath albums, but I think they're underrated.
Yeah, there's definitely people should listen to them if they have shunned them for whatever reason. But
Yeah,
one thing you mentioned is melody, and I kind of get that from you guys in a doomy way on the record, and I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of catch it, because there's some catchiness to the songs on the new record. Is that something you mentioned things like Trouble and Sabbath, and I say things like pop sensibilities, and it might not, there might be a kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense, but there's some catchiness to your writing. Is that something that you do on purpose, or it just kind of happens in kind of the flow of putting the songs together?
I would say it's intentional. I have I've told Kristian not to be afraid to make it like yeah, sound not sound poppy, but use some make it catchy,
Yeah.
make it rememberable, and make it stick in your head. That's the point.
Yeah, definitely. To me, that's really important. And yeah, the band we played in before was more of a death metal band, but and that was fun. But to me, like you really need the melodies to make the song shine.
Yeah. And I think, I mentioned Kal-El earlier. I think they're like the gold standard of that, like the ability to have that doomy, heavy sound, but also like I can hum those songs in my head and they stick with me, which is a hard thing to do when with doom metal, right? You, a lot of times it's slow. It's you got the riff and that's there, but like to have a song stuck in your head is I think a challenge that not a lot of bands do well, and that's why I think your record kind of stands out when I look at some of the other modern doom that's out there today. I have to talk about Norway because I was looking at just the Weedian puts out like the Tripped 2 compilations, and you guys are on there, and just looking at the bands that are in Norway, in this country of yours. It's just some amazing bands like St. Karloff and Black Moon Circle and Genford, who put out an amazing record last year that was in like my top 20. And Astroplane, who put out a record, I think, last week also. That's really, really good. Tell me about the scene. Like, how interactive is it? Is it small and compact? Is it spread out through Norway? Because I know Norway's not like the States here, and you can be in Portland and Carolina and have nothing to do with each other. But what's it like in the Norwegian scene?
Well, Norway is also, all the cities are quite far away for us as well. I mean, if we go to Oslo, the capital, it seems like not so far away, but if we go by car, it's like 7 hours or something. And from here and to the top of Norway, it's like going down to the south of Italy. So Norway is a quite long country. But the majority of the bands, maybe here and around in our area, around Bergen and around Oslo, I would say. But since you first mentioned the Kal-El, we have to say that they are good friends of us, and we played with them like 10 days ago. Actually, the day after
Awesome.
our record was released, so it was quite special for us to do a concert just the day after.
Very cool. Yeah, they just such nice guys too. They did my show. They didn't know me at all. I just said, "Hey, you want to come on?" They're like, "Sure," and they spent an hour with me. I'm like, "Thank you guys. That's so cool." And they were just so funny and so open to doing it, which was very cool. You mentioned their friends, and you guys have known them just in the scene, and them being Kella and you guys being in bands also. Is that kind of how it all came? How you guys got to know them?
Well, I think I've seen them live since they almost started 10, 12 years ago. I don't remember when, but meeting them every now and then and catching up. And yeah, of course, the later years they've seen some of our shows before, and yeah, good support.
Very cool.
And since you also
Very
mentioned
cool.
Gjenferd on your top list from last year, we played with them last year, and we found them really, really exciting. And we've heard some of their new tunes now. They played in Stavanger just a month ago, and you can really look forward to the next record as well.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the Hammond organ and stuff like that, and like you give me that, and I'm like, oh, it's like candy. And I completely say the name of the band again, because I'm looking at it like a guy sitting in Florida. How would you pronounce it?
Gjenferd.
There, okay, yeah, I said something completely different, but you knew what I was talking about, which was good.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too far off. So you mentioned. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now, also locally here, we have bands like Caravan. Probably heard them. They were on the same compilation.
Yep.
Svart Hav is from our area here. And there are some bands in Kristiansand and towards Oslo, and there's a lot of bands. But as you said, more going in maybe into the sludge doom or the stoner doom part. Not as many bands going to the classic epic part as we try to head towards.
Yeah.
That's more Sweden's export, I think. Yeah.
It's so interesting from a country standpoint how that kind of happens. It's funny here in the States. It's more state to state. Like you see a lot of sludge in the South, and you see a lot of the more traditional doom, like in the Northwest, and then you get. It's very interesting how that kind of it travels. I was interested in a little bit about what you guys are doing from a tour standpoint. You mentioned you played with Kella at when your record was released. Are you guys touring? Are you playing locally, or what does that look like? Just for our people who might want to catch Zebulon live.
Yeah, we did meet some great guys from the UK earlier this year, Famine. And so we are they are coming over to Norway in February, so we are playing 2 shows with them.
Cool.
And then we will be going to the UK in May and play at least 3 shows. So we haven't kind of set up some grand tours, but we have quite a bit of different shows lined up. Festival in Switzerland in March.
Cool. Excellent. And was the show that you played recently, was that like a record release show, or it just happened to be a local show that you guys played? Are you doing any kind of record release party or anything like that? Because I'm going to have my own record release party later on when I you can tell it's still sealed. So, it's literally was dropped on my doorstep like an hour ago. So are you guys doing like a release party or anything like that, or anything to celebrate the dropping of the record if you have not already?
We have a show booked at a local venue as a release party. We will bring along at least another band, so it's like it's right after Christmas, so it's like a holiday doom special concert. Yeah.
Will there be any Christmas song covers doomed up or?
It's a good idea. I'm not sure if we can pull it off, but to be honest, but yeah.
Of course, we're doing the "I'm Dreaming of a Doom" Christmas.
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. There's a band here out of New York who Clouds Taste Satanic. They're an instrumental band, and they did a whole Christmas song EP, including the Mariah Carey song that even I think you guys know and probably would drive you crazy. As it never stops playing once Halloween ends here in the U.S. It's an earworm in the worst possible way. So from a Zebulon standpoint, I know that the record just came out. What are you guys looking at from a a long-term standpoint? I know a lot of the bands that I talk to, the record comes out and it was recorded like a year and a half ago, and now it's coming out. We've been playing these songs, we're sick of them, and we've been writing new ones. Or is this something like maybe you fast-tracked it a little bit more, and these are still relatively fresh for you?
Well, some of the songs, or at least the riffs, are 10 years old, I think. So, yeah, but of course, they have, until Kristian joined the band, there was no songs that were finished. It was just a pile of riffs and somewhat finished songs. Like it's ready to put vocals on, but that's not the same as being finished. So, yeah, they are pretty much, we were writing up until a couple of months before we went into the studio to just finish all the stuff. So yeah, it's not fresh, but still, yeah, it's been hard work to get here. So yeah, we still enjoy playing the songs, but also want to look forward. And we're already writing new stuff. Don't know exactly when we will hit the studio again, but yeah, there will be more.
Excellent.
Yeah, Torstein is writing riffs all the time, but I think I'm the bottleneck actually. Coming up with these melodies, it's not easy.
Yeah, it's a hard part.
I spend a lot of time on that.
You mentioned something I have to ask. So you guys had all of the instrumentation done, and Kristian wasn't in the band yet. Did you have to like go recruit him and pull him in? I feel like this is one of my favorite bands ever is Faith No More, and they did the whole album, The Real Thing, instrumental and had no one to sing, and then they brought in Patton and he put his lyrics and vocals on. I feel like this is that situation. Is that kind of what happened here?
We had kind of no songs that were complete 2 months before our first concert. So he joined, and then we had to like speedrun finishing some songs.
How was that? And how did you? So you guys have known each other for a while. Was there a recruiting process to get him, to get him back in the fold, or what had to happen to convince him to come and write these songs in 2 months and be in the band?
First of all, he had to tell us that he actually sang. So that was
Yeah, and I had been living in Denmark for a while. And I guess the timing was right. I was contemplating moving back because my daughter was going to start school here in Norway. And I knew they needed a vocalist, so I wasn't very hard to ask. I think maybe I even begged to.
And like I said, like the feedback that I in the crew that I run in our our little musical circle, it's amazing because everyone loves the sound, but like no offense to the musicians here, but like the vocals, like people are just like, I think that is one of the big differentiators of this record that people are talking a lot about. So again, I think it's an amazing story that this is like a later in life found talent that you have, and you guys are kind of reaping the benefits of that, right? He suddenly, now this guy who we've known for so long can actually sing. What the hell? What's going on here? So that's very, very cool. Kristian, when you were in like a death doom band, you were playing guitar? You weren't singing, or were you just growling and?
No, I was. I never opened my mouth before in a band context. So yeah, I was playing bass some of the time, and then guitar.
Cool. And so you guys are a 5-piece, correct? There's so are you're focusing on vocals now, and then you have another guitar player as well. So you're kind of like Trouble, right? You that kind of setup.
And then we did as you might have heard, we put some synths and keys on the album as well. So I've been trying to incorporate a little bit of that live as well.
Oh, okay. So you're actually trying to bring that into the fold. I know like the bands who play the Hammond, they always complain about, carrying that into a venue and trekking that back and forth from show to show. But it's pretty cool. Like, since I think used to get a bad name and a bad rap when you put it into like metal, but to me it builds so much like atmosphere, and it kind of fills some of the empty space. There's a band here called Temptress, who I just had on the show the other day. They're putting out a new record in January, and we were talking a little bit about the synths and how like it just kind of does its thing. Like it's a helper, it's not a hindrance. And I think people think keyboards and they think like 80s Journey, and they don't really think of how it's being used from a heavy standpoint. Because and then give me Hammond again all day. I'll eat that stuff up. But for our U.S. fans, maybe people who haven't heard, Kristian, I'll go to you. What would you say about this record? What would you not trying to sell them on it, but tell them what to expect when they put on the new Zebulon.
That's a good question. Yeah, some good old school classical doom in more modern spin, I guess. That's what people have been telling us, I guess, with some melodies. But yeah,
Love it.
Heaviness and melodies, I guess.
Love it. And would you guys add anything to Kristian's description there?
I would say that you should not be surprised if you hear some thrash parts as well in a few of the riffs.
That's very true. Yeah, you guys keep it heavy. I don't think you stepped away from your death doom and your heavier bands too far. There's definitely a little bit of that left in the music. And Torstein, I'm sorry, I think I interrupted you.
No, you did. I think like the opening track, it's kind of it's a powerful opening. It's supposed to hit you right in the face, drag you into it. And yeah, we put at least some thought about like the track listings or track order. So yeah, it's supposed to be something to keep things interesting all the time. So it's not just another similar song after another similar song. And yeah, I think it's quite big. Or big is maybe an over exaggeration, but it's there is some variation, enough variation to keep it interesting in my opinion.
I would agree with that, and I feel a little bit validated in that Oddmund has a trouble tattoo, so I was not completely off base with what I was hearing when I was listening to the record. This has been amazing, guys. Thank you. And I want to say for the fans who are listening, my two favorite kind of traditional doom records this year would be Cattle Mass's record. If you guys had not heard the Cattle Mass record, they're a band out of California. It's called Alpha 1128. It's killer stuff. You got some synths, you got the trad doom, you got that kind of stuff. And the new Zebulon record, which is right here. And again, the Bandwagon USA has these available to ship to the USA for $6 shipping, not $60 like it would be from another country in right now, given everything that's going on. But guys, thank you so much. I know it's a little bit later there. I loved having you on. I love talking about the record, and I will continue to scream about it here in the States with everyone and everyone worldwide who will listen to me. So congratulations. Good luck on the shows and everything, and keep in touch. And when you guys are ready, just please come back and talk to us again.
Thank you. We'd love to.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you.